Hello everybody and welcome to this tournament video for the playthrough for Master Division for the upcoming tournament. This video is with variable wins and I will go through all the holes that we are going to play. If you do want to follow along in a better way, you follow the info box on the right hand side for club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, but also what ball and club I suggest you to play with. Have in mind, you don't have to follow that if you don't want to, but I always have a plan with my suggestions. Now, let's enjoy the video and go to hole number 1. For hole number 4, Juniper point, we're going to send it to green. Max top spin, 1.5 bar of left spin, and we're looking to start at max P5 line. You can see here as well that I'm using the red ring to be by the rough line to the left. Here, this is play, or what can we say, this is par 4, where having a headwind, it's impossible for you to make it over the water. And it's going to be too much risk. So then you lay up on the right, and then you have a long iron from distance, and that's actually a finicky one. It's not a simple one at all. But if we do have a tailwind or we do have a crosswind, we are going to send it. And then you have two things to choose between. One, you do a standard play, which is a max overpower trying to hit perfect, and you have the second part, which is that you are going for some sort of a power hook. And that's obviously up to you to decide, because there is risk with both. There are also positive things with both. In the end, if you're lucky, you can drop the hole in one. Not something that I expect to do, because there's many things that's gonna go have to go the right way. But you will definitely see people having hole in ones on their scorecard here on hole number 4, Juniper point. Start with a power 4 side spin 1 ball together with the sniper, just to find the min line easier with the rocket. Look to what I do with my second bounce. I want it to be just right of where it shows to be clipped by the bunker. All but half a bar of backspin and 1 right spin. Adjust is going to be max plus 10 P3. And here we're playing with no wind angles. We're playing into the funnel on the back right of the pin. And it has dropped with various wind angles. What needs to be said though is centering the ball will be important. Having some underpower will definitely have an effect, so I would definitely recommend to just be very focused and clear with that. Goes behind the pin, rolls into with nice speed, and we're getting a hole in one here on hole number 2. Get the guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. On hole number 5, we do want to play with a power 5 ball if we do have a slight tailwind, which we do have here, because pushing this drive to be above the rough and the sand with our first bounce is so valuable, because the other option we have is to bounce before the rough and the sand, and I'm gonna lay up for, I would call that an eagle only play. Adjustment max plus 10, and using right spin together with somewhere between 6 to max top spin, depending on what type of wind direction we have and also what type of wind strength. As we do have a minor tailwind, we're pushing up to max to make sure that we do get the full distance on this ball flight here, which, you know, we do want to get ourselves around the trees. We don't want to flirt by maybe clipping the trees if we are unlucky. The ball rolls down here nicely, and now we're going to play a short iron to pin from here, and this couldn't really be much better when it comes to the to getting an approach on hole number 5, which is in general a pretty tough par 5. Having the first bounce on fringe, in my opinion, is the best, because that will bring you consistency. Bouncing before the fringe will bring you an inconsistency instead, so recommend to do the first bounce on the fringe. Adjusting here with true club distance with a 10% over adjustment. Unfortunately, you will notice me hitting great, but with a perfect ball, this would have been very close. So, in the end, hole number 5 here offers a good chance for an albatross if we do have a wind of T that is some sort of a tailwind. If we have a crosswind or a headwind, we're going to have to lay up, and it's going to be a wood club towards the pin. But as we do have trees covering the shot then from distance, then we are going to have a very tough chance to even have a look at the albatross then from distance. So, depending on wind direction, we're gonna either have some fun time or it's gonna be a pretty boring par 5. Hole number 8 is a tough par 3. Here we are going to either bounce on this fairway pad or we're doing a rough bump. Now with many different type of balls, such as with side spin 4, side spin 5, we have precision balls and stuff like that. The sky is the limit on this par 3 in my opinion, where we can play for the more skinnier rough bumps without feeling that much of a risk. We can also go with backspin boost balls directly on the green and stuff like that. So the alternative that I'm showing you here is what I would classify as the simplest play, but also with the least amount of risk. Try to avoid playing on the fairway to the left, which is just there to fool you, as there is a lot of bumps on that one. So again, you can play so many different ways, but this particular play, I adjust mid, no elevation, using the rocket to ensure that I have backspin enough my club so I don't come in too hot. And here I'm playing with a wind 5 ball, obviously, to reduce the wind as much as possible. Hole number 8, Santa Ventura, tough one, but makeable. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guides for expert and master division of the Bluegrass Classic Tournament, full 9 or full 18 of the Juniper Point, an old classic which I truly enjoy myself to play. In both of the divisions, we are creating free-to-play ball alternatives and paid ball alternatives for you as a player to enjoy. Have in mind that having a guide actually saves you money if you're trying to be competitive, because it will remove the necessary extra practices and therefore you're not spending more balls and stuff like that. So use our guides, try it out, and see for yourself how it will improve your game. Link in the description down below, patreon.com/golfclashtommy, or you scan the QR code here on the screen. The drive is a bit tricky, and we're going to start with quarterback at max P3 line, red ring by the rough line, then swapping to a poke and sniper bag, max top spin and 0.8 left spin. We have tested the drive for a poke 8, 7, 6, 5, all of those values we are adding we have tested with, so there is absolutely no guess behind that. Adjust max plus 10 P4, and this is going to be the zone where we are just into do nothing. There will be a headwind zone as well, where we need to push up 2 yards extra when it comes to the standard values. You will all see in the table. Looking to get to around 410 yards, which is absolutely ultimate. Here you can play with any P3 plus side spin 2 plus wind 5 ball. So you don't have to play with a P3 precision here, but obviously that's very helpful on the approach. On the second shot, we are going to do a check where the top of the white ring is by the rough meets the sand. 2 right spin, half a bar of backspin to start with. That's spin 1. Now we're looking to have the ball guideline where it just goes longer through the hole. And once we have found that spot, we are going to swap and do no top or backspin and 2 right spin. Adjustment here now is gonna be from +9, we play 68% slider, plus 10% elevation, P3 numbers, adding or subtracting 0.1 for every 2 yards. Adjust is done, then we're centering the ball, and we do hit perfect. Even though this is a good chance for a drop, this is never going to be a shot that is gonna be in every time, because there are a lot of moving things happening during the way here, and that's something to have in mind. But in a worst case scenario, it will be an eagle. Get our guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. On the drive here on hole number 4, we're gonna start with our quarterback at max P4 with white ring to the left by the rough line, swapping to Thor's hammer level 6 plus, and we're gonna play with 7.8 top spin and 2 right spin. Adjustment now is going to be max plus 10 P4. And here as well, to just have that said, if you're interested in playing with a P3 ball, you can do that also. But you need to swap to the P3 ball after you have swapped from the what is it, from the quarterback to Thor's hammer. You can't do that before. Now I'm having a little bit of left curl here, which was not my intention, but the ball comes down nicely down the fairway. With the Thor's hammer 6, which has a pretty crappy accuracy, great left is not going to be safe, but I've been hitting single great left and right with Thor's hammer level 8, and it has been safe on the fairway, but obviously preferred a perfect ball, then you will always be safe. It's a narrow fairway, and if we are unlucky, you may roll into that, and then the eagle chance is somewhat close to be gone. From P4 min line, we are going to go directly to min line with our Falcon or with our Thorn and play one right spin, and we're gonna play 5.2 top spin here from P4 min line. If we do play from P3 min line, please check that video, but the only difference is that you're playing with 5.5 top spin instead. Adjust is gonna be minimum distance, no elevation, P4 numbers. And we will always be very close to the min line here with our adjustment. As you can see here now, when I pull, you can see I'm just more or less licking the absolute min line there with my club. Center the ball and hit perfect, and this is going to be a very good chance. So again, if you do want to play with a P4 ball, this is the way. If you want to play with a P3 ball, you can do that as well, as that opens up for different balls as well, such as, I mean, the standard free-to-play balls, but also additional Win 5 precision balls that you can play as well. Get our guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Hole number 7 is a tricky one, especially when we do have a headwind. When we do have a headwind, we recommend to bounce a little bit further back on the fairway to bounce up towards the pin. If it is a crosswind or a tailwind, the rough bump is most likely the best option, because at least it will reduce down the effect of the wind after it hits the ground with the first bounce. Here, ball guideline through the hole. Using some in-between type of spins. I was more satisfied with looking at the red ring here as a wind angle, and as you can see that this replay is a little bit on the older side due to the fact that I'm using a ball called the frozen ball, which is an impossible ball to center. This is not a ball that I will be using nowadays, but it's nice to get rid of one of those, especially when the result is on hole in one. Max minus 5% elevation, P2 numbers, so 7 rings for 7.3 miles per hour. For hole number 1, if there is a tailwind, we are going to send it. If it's not a tailwind, we're going to lay up on the right hand side and attack the pin with a long iron or a short iron from distance. Now 4.5 bar top spin, I'm not using any side spin. When we do have a wind like this, there's definitely a chance for a hole in one. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's going to be an easy one, but there will definitely be players shooting that hole in one. Stretch out the max, bullseye by the rough line, and we are then adjusting max plus 10, and it's going to be variable push-up depending on wind strength and also wind angle to be consistent. You can obviously push up a random amount and just scream YOLO and hope for the best, but it's always best to have a plan. Perfect ball it is, and you can see here now that we are bouncing on the first fairway, on the other fairway, and then into the rough to roll for a wedge. And this is obviously a super simple way of getting the eagle. With some right spin, we would have been flirting with the hole in one, but it's still the eagle that we want to lock in first and foremost, and then having an outside chance for an hole in one. Whilst most of the Juniper point holes comes fairly easy, this is standing out in my opinion to be the toughest of the 9 Juniper points that we do have to play. Here playing a P5 NMT, doing a max plus 15 in my adjustment, 2 left and a little bit of topspin. I like to play the NMT here personally, and the reason I like to play the NMT is because it obviously simplifies finding the aim point. But if you do have a headwind, unfortunately there isn't really a good chance for you to get over the rough and sand here. You see we're bouncing over their rough and their sand and then a little bit of rough. We do want to stay on the other pad, so most likely, not most likely, but if you want to push for any sort of drop chance, or for that matter an easy eagle, then you're going to have to push the drive really hard. So there is a little funnel spot here on the right hand side of the green, which I'm trying to catch. Now, this is not an easy one. Once again, you don't really have that much rough to play on, and you're obviously going to have to be spot on with everything that you do. Do you have to play this type of aggressive line on this hole? No, you don't. You can play safely to the green by using max backspin and as much right that you can to try, in that case, just land it up there to the right. Most likely will fall down to the left because the green's nature is that it slopes right to left. So makes the adjustment, which in this case is around 13.5 rings, a couple of clicks of overpower to compensate for the specific wind angle, and then it clips the rough, and you see just goes down onto the green, but there he catches that funnel and rolls down dead center for the albatross. Thank you everybody for watching this playthrough video for Master Division for the upcoming tournament. If you did enjoy the content here, make sure to smash the thumbs up on your way out. Now, last but not least, a massive good luck in the upcoming tournament.